Zdravo svima, dobrodošli u 4. godinu za redom saradnju između Agelast podcasta i Sarajevo film festivala. Ukoliko ste nas pratili prethodnih godina, onda znate da ćemo biti tu tokom celog trajanja festivala i svakoga dana donosimo ćemo vam intervjue kako sa umetnicima iz regiona, tako i sa ljudima iz inostranstva, a upravo sa jednim takvim otvaramo današnju epizodu, prvu u nizu. Pre nego što najavimo našeg gosta, samo da napomenem još jednom, odnosno da napomenem da je Plazma sponsor, odnosno zlatni sponsor Sarajevo film festivala i ovog specijala sa vrlo prigodnim sloganom koji nosi naziv Ljubav u svakom kadru. A kada već govorimo o kadrovima, ne možemo da ne govorimo o glumcima. Kad govorimo o glumcima, jedan od najvećih zvezdi ovog festivala je definitivno čovek koji je svoju karijeru počeo davne 1968. godine sa više od 150 naslova koji su odigrali ključne istorijske trenutke u razvoju svetske kinematografije, kako skandinavske, tako evropske, pa i svetske. Neko ko je imao svoj razvojni put od Dogme, dakle od pokreta Dogme pa sve do Marvelovih onolikih studija i multimilionskih budžeta za filmove, a u pitanju je Stellan Skarsgård, čovek koji ne samo da je napravio ogromnu karijeru, već ima i brojnu decu koji su također napravile ništa manje značajne karijere. Nažalost, nismo imali puno vremena da razgovaramo sa Stellanom, tako da smo uspeli u ono malo ograničenog vremena koliko smo imali da stavimo što više i nadamo se da smo ispunili vaše očekivanja. Naš prvi gost u specijalu 4. godinu za redom između Agelast podcasta i Sarajevo film festivala je Stellan Skarsgård. So, Stellan, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So we are opening this festival season of interviews with you. You're going to be the first one in a row of many interviews we're going to make this year for Sarajevo Film Festival. So you came yesterday?
To Sarajevo, I came yesterday.
To Sarajevo, yeah. To Sarajevo.
I was in Mostar the night before.
Mostar the night before. Oh, so what were you doing in Mostar?
I was looking at Mostar.
Oh, really? So somebody from the organization told me actually that you traveled by a plane to Dubrovnik or something like that, and then you took a train ride.
Well, actually, it's not exactly right, but it's almost right.
Okay,
I traveled by plane to Split, and then
to Split. Sorry.
And then I took a car to Mostar and took the train from Mostar to here.
Okay. So you took a rental, or somebody drove you?
Somebody drove.
Somebody drove. Okay. So what was the experience like?
Well, I mean, a car ride is a car ride. He was. I had one problem, and that was he was driving 190 kilometers per hour on those mountain roads, and he was texting at the same time.
Okay,
but it was a little dicey.
But experienced driver, I would say. Yeah, the local one, I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And the train ride?
Lovely. Yeah. Have you done it?
No. That destination never.
No, I mean it takes 2 hours. You can go back and forth if you want to.
But nice.
But it's lovely. And the mountains are beautiful, and the lakes and the river, and really nice.
And lately, you've been traveling around festivals. The recent one was, I think, Karlove Varia, I'm guessing that was the latest one that you've been to, and your career spans through so many decades of wonderful films, and I've been through to some of those films because I had to remind myself of them because I watched them decades ago. Some of them, the last one, 3 ones, The Unbearable Lightness of Being, for example, I've seen that decades ago. So I had to remind myself, and by watching those films in a row, when you sit day by day and you watch those films, you start having this experience of like having this wow effect of like, wow, what a career. You co-starred with so many legendary actors and actresses. You've done amazing artwork with them. You dive deep into so many different characters, and someone has to wonder, do you ever look back over the shoulder at your career and just having this wow effect yourself?
Well, since you talk about this wow effect now, I might go back for once and look at it because I want to see that. But no, I don't. I I hardly see my films ever again. But I don't like to see them at all. I don't like to see me in a film because you always there's always things you could have done differently. You know?
Yeah. So you see only the flaws.
Yeah, of course.
Or you remember the behind the scenes moments or from the editing process of the film. But you also told me just now before we started filming that you don't like, that you haven't seen almost any film at any festival.
Well, you know, festivals for an actor is often, you have a film at the festival, and if it's a good film, the press will be, they use it for doing press.
Yeah.
So you sit and meet press all the day, and then you get quickly drunk in the evening and fall asleep.
So when looking at your career, I've seen that your career, you started your career in the late 60s. Your first appearance was in 1968, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And it was, I'm going to try to pronounce it in if I can, you correct me. Bombi bit och
Yeah. Och
jag.
Almost right. No, it was actually perfect. Yeah. Okay. It's like it's a TV series.
Yeah.
And we only had one channel at the time, so if you were on television, you were really famous in the country.
Yeah.
And it's like a Huckleberry Finn. And I was doing this.
How old were you?
16.
16 at the time. So how was the casting like? Was that your entrance into the world of cinema?
Yeah, it was the first time in front of a camera.
First time in front of a camera. How do you remember the experience?
Oh, I liked it because it was such a lovely character, you know.
Yeah.
He was very unconventional, the character. He was a wild boy. But I also was so interested in at 16 I was so interested in the technique of making films, and I was looking at learning everything about the camera, everything about the sound, everything about the technique.
Yeah, when you started looking at the techniques, diving into which is going to be very important later, especially when we start talking about Lars von Trier films, for example, his Golden Heart era, and then his Depression era, and the characters you played in that, especially Breaking the Waves. But you had to develop yourself up to that point, right? So you had a prominent role also in The Unbearable Lightness of Being, when you had played a very important character with Juliette Binoche in the scene, of course. But before that, I'm gonna try again with another one. You won a Silver Bear in Berlinale for the character you played, for the Sven character you played in The Simple-Minded Murderer in 1982, right? But called Den Enfaldig Mordaren.
Almost right too. You don't really get it. Den enfaldige mördaren. Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
It means the simple-minded.
Yeah, simple-minded.
It's very hard to say.
Yeah. So playing that character, Sven, what was that experience like for you?
It was another role that was fantastic. I mean, he is sort of. He's retarded in a way, and he's hair-lipped, and he's an outcast of society, and he's working he's being used by a farmer for menial work, and it's a very melodramatic film, but it's very funny too.
Diving into that kind of a character and portraying it, that experience for you how was that experience for you?
You know, I've done a lot of theater already at the time, and I was used to do characters, different characters. But this was, of course, a technical character too, because he was hairy. He talked like this.
Yeah,
and I had a fake lip and everything, and there was a lot. They used to bake my lip in the morning.
Bake?
Yeah, in the oven. They baked my lip every morning, and then they glued it on.
Okay, well, that considering what was in it for you when it comes to costumes later on in life, that was nothing. Pirates of the Caribbean was probably one of the hardest ones to put off, right?
Yeah. But I like what they're doing because I like the skill of the profession. I like the what they can do with just painting or with just a little rubber, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, but you were probably one of the few characters in that particular film who didn't wear like a gray suit with dots on it for the green screen.
Yeah,
that you wore an actual makeup.
Yes, and it was me and the makeup artist. We agreed on. I wasn't supposed to have it like that, but we said, "Yeah, let's go for it." So I ended up doing 6 hours in makeup.
So how would your daily routine would look like?
I was getting in there and I was sitting still for 6 hours. Just had smoking breaks.
At what? Like early in the morning or in the night?
Early in the night.
In the night.
And then in the morning, I got on set and then worked a day, and then it was a couple of hours to take him off again.
Wow.
I did regret it somehow.
How?
When after several days of shooting, I regretted it a little. But it was fantastic to see him paint it, because he was doing different every day because he was an artist, and he was putting those seashells and all the sea creatures together in my face, and it was wonderful to watch.
One of the directors that you have a very good relationship with, because everybody's talking about your good relationship with Lars von Trier, of course, but there's another one that you have a very good relationship with, Hans-Peter Holland, right? That you've done several movies with him, actually, with prominent roles in them. For example, Zero Kelvin was one of those, and I think is he the good Afton Herr Wallenberg also?
No, that was Kjell Grede. He was a Swedish.
Yeah.
No, he's Norwegian. We've done what's
Aberdeen?
5 or 6. Huh? Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. Zero Kelvin. And how would you describe your relationship with Hans-Peter Holland and working with him on the sets?
Well, we have a very friendly and way of. We're good friends, very good friends, and it's like just like playing, like kids playing in a sandbox, and you get ideas, and you don't say much because it's gonna be fine anyway.
Yeah.
and then whatever idea you have, you come up, and the other one builds on that idea, and throws it back at you, and you throw it back again, and it's very, very pleasant. But I have very pleasant. There's several directors I have pleasant working relationships with, and to me, it's important to have. I have to feel safe. I have to feel that I'm amongst friends. Then I can be good. I have to feel that whatever you do, don't get criticized for it. You can drop your pants and it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's for very important for creativity, I think.
Do you think that kind of safe environment is kind of losing its ground in last couple of years or maybe a decade or so?
No, because I didn't think it was very safe before. It was very, in the 40s and 30s and 50s, the directors were more of a in total control, and they were more authoritarian. But like Lars von Trier, he lets his actors just. He knew his first 5 films were brilliantly technical, but rather boring. And what was the problem? He says of one of them, it's like a block of ice. What's the matter? Yeah, and it was he didn't let any life come into them because he decided everything in detail. But then with Breaking the Waves and with his Dogma that he also made, the Dogma Manifesto, which meant he took away all his tools.
Yeah.
So he just let the actor do whatever he wanted.
He took those tools away from himself in order to emphasize the art and the aspects of the art that makes the art, right? But it's to make life here. I mean, because actors
actors, the thing is, the difficult thing on screen is to create life. It's not like theater, because in theater you're in the same room as somebody, as the audience. It's the irrational moment that you can't control.
Okay, yeah. So this is very interesting, because let's focus. For example, let's look at Breaking the Waves as an example, because I think it's a prime example. So the technique, it's not dogma per se, but it has many dogma elements in it. So we can maybe call it the dogma piece in a way. So it was filmed in a handheld 35 millimeter film, which has these shaky effects, and it has this sense of immediacy and intimacy in many ways. And you have, and the most of the film is shot in the plans when you have like focused on faces and reacting to situations that happens that happens in your surroundings. So
the camera reacts.
The camera reacts. Yes. So you have this sense of like a documentary style, natural environment with natural lights in many ways, and so on and so forth. But so for you and your character in this particular film and the themes that exploits, how was it from the actor point of view, performing on the set? Was there many freestyle moments? Was everything scripted perfectly and then performed it in the same manner, or did you had any freedom? And how would you do like a take after take after take? How many takes would it take for a one complete scene?
The freedom was total.
Total.
And Lars von Trier, he had on the set, he had a big sign saying "Make mistakes," and it's really good to have. But and you know, he is. It's interesting what you say about the camera work. It was like a person, but he didn't compose. It was CinemaScope, but normally you compose the picture like you're looking into the frame. Yeah. But he put the cross in the middle of the face, so you got the feeling that you stared at Emily Watson when she was suffering. You know? Oh, yeah. So you felt almost intruding on them, but. We didn't even block the scenes. We could do whatever we want. We didn't, block the scenes. That means that you sit there and I sit here and then you walk over there. We didn't do that. We just started and we shot it. And we could do it every take differently if we wanted to.
Yeah, so it's, in a way, it seems like a theater in a way, like not cutting the scenes, but just following through with the acting.
But at the same time, he is cutting the scenes very, very in a very non-conventional way, because he doesn't follow the rules at all.
Completely, yeah. But also, thinking about the performance and the characters, and this goes, I think, for every Lars von Trier film, is. You have to dive deep in order to understand the character, but also, as you said earlier, to make this irrational thing shine, like to come through without really showing them or acting them, just to be in a way that them present themselves. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
But when you're having camera, like 35 millimeter camera in your face, staring at you in those, let's say, daring scenes, especially for Emily Watson, who was like her film debut, as I remember. I think you have to be very brave in a way to dive that deep in with such characters in such a film.
It's actually easier with the freedom that he gives you.
Yeah.
Then try to do it in a technical way and precise way, more like you do it in the theater, because then it's really hard to get the scene to become alive, because everything. To make it alive, it has to be the pauses has to be there. The pauses have to be organic. You can't have a director who says, "Well, then you say that line there, and then you say that line there." How do you know?
Yeah.
And the best thing is when you surprise yourself, and when you surprise the other actor, and the other actor surprises you, because as it is in life, you don't know.
Yeah.
And all those it takes the same concentration, but it's really monumentally different from normal filmmaking, if you say so.
Yeah.
But I started to use the Von Trier technique on other films after that. So I said, just let it was coincident. The digital revolution came at the same time.
Yeah.
So suddenly it didn't cost anything to take long takes or other takes. So I just told them to let the camera roll, and then we did a take, and I went back and I did it again, and I went back and I did it again. So it's like Robert De Niro does in his famous scene. In front of the mirror, talking to me. You're talking to me. You're talking to me. You talking to me. It's you try the line with different kinds of attack all the time, and thus it becomes delicious.
Yeah.
Or you can cut it.
Yeah, like Vincent Cassel redid the scene in La Haine in 1995, 1996, in front of the mirror also, but in a completely different context, like pretending to be De Niro. But also. The interesting thing you mentioned, because it's very different from other filmmaking. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, you portrayed characters in Von Trier's films, and being a focal point for them, it doesn't matter if the role is big or small in a conventional way, but your character played the crucial role in the storytelling. For example, Breaking the Waves was a big role, like co-starred with Emily Watson, like I think the biggest when it comes to Von Trier's film. But for example, in the second one, Dancer in the Dark, you had in conventional ways, very small role, but a very important role. You were the guy who broke the bad news twice in the film. First time to Selma, telling her that she has a condition that she cannot cure herself from, and then at the end of the film, telling her again that her son is gonna have the same condition, which impacts the movie monumentally in many ways. And working in that kind of films, let's juxtapose those with, for example, Marvel movies, or Pirates of the Caribbean, or other more commercial cinema. How would you compare those two experiences from the actor standpoint, from the actor point of view?
Yeah. Well, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't that different, because Gore Verbinski was a very he let the actors free, and he just it was like a small film, but you had 400 people around you in the crew. But but it was like a small film, and there was space for developing the characters and stuff, and the camera followed you wherever you were.
So your personal experience, your subjective experience, was like it's an independent film set, not $400 million budget film.
No,
that's an interesting. But the Marvel ones.
That is more of an industrial production, let's say, and it's a profitable one.
Let's say so, yeah. And the other thing is that also you can juxtapose, in a sense, with those two types of filmmaking. Is, for example, Mamma Mia is a musical, but Dancer in the Dark is also a musical, but two very different kind of musicals. Yeah. So how would you compare those two from the actor point of view?
The Mamma Mia. First of all, I didn't quite understand when I got the offer, because I can't dance, I can't sing, and what.
Well, not really.
Yeah, but what
you're not completely tone deaf.
but I found out that it's made by women, very good. They're very good women. The director is a woman, the producer is a woman, all the cast, the main roles are women. the boys are supposed to be the bimbos in the film.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So you're only supposed to be there and look charming and maybe a little sexy.
Okay.
But otherwise, you're free. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And performing "Take a Chance on Me."
Yeah,
That was like your peak performance when it comes to singing and dancing in the film, right?
Yeah, that was my. But I was trying to dance we rehearsed for a month and a half to Voulez-vous.
Okay.
And I woke up in the middle of the night. I said, Voulez-vous. It was horrifying. But I never made it.
Yeah. Well,
they cut out most of my dance.
Really? Yeah. How much? How many percentages would you say they cut out?
Oh, I danced the whole fucking thing. but I don't think you see me dance.
Yeah, because for example, take a chance on me. I was looking at the scene because that was like the prominent you singing and dancing scene. I was paying attention to it, and I was like, oh, this is the back vocals doing most of the work, when like filling in the soundscape of the picture. And there's like not many dancing really. It was more of a situation going on and then acting it out in a film. So that was a very interesting, take on the musical part of the film, like not really dancing in it. But also, how would you compare your experiences in von Trier's film from those Golden Heart era and the Depression era as they separate them in those two trilogies? Well, because you performed in both of them.
Yeah. It's no difference for an actor. I mean, and he at the towards the end of the he's a nymphomaniac. He suddenly came with on the set with a dolly. What is this, you bourgeois prick? I said to him, yeah, I know, but I gotta have a dolly shot here. You're getting old, huh? So, but of course he didn't have to do his handheld things when it didn't serve its purpose. And it was just me and Charlotte Gainsbourg in a room for 2 weeks. We were just talking. And it was fantastic to be in a room with Charlotte Gainsbourg for 2 weeks. But it was also fantastic to film something like that. Only our dialogue in that room is a whole film. It's 90 minutes long. So I'm just talking, and it was wonderful.
It could be like presented in a theater, maybe.
Yeah, it could.
Just two of you on the set talking for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it wouldn't sell much, but
but it would have great artistic value.
Yeah, we'd love it.
And when it comes to your character in the Nymphomaniac, also is very important because to call back the earlier irrational things said that has to shine. Your character does that brilliantly by the way he acts. The way he acts by the end of the film, the sudden changeover in behavior, juxtaposed to what he presented himself to be throughout the whole film.
You mean when his instincts are shining through?
Yeah. So I'm trying to dive into what is that experience like and how do you reach for that moment as an actor?
Well, that moment that you talk about, that is, it actually, Lars said when he was sitting and writing it, he said, Stellan, my next film will be a porno film, and I want you to play the male lead in it. Yes, Lars, I'm coming. And said, but you won't be allowed to show your penis at all, except in the last scene. Okay, Lars, I'll come anyway. And it will be floppy. So I did it. Okay. But I usually say that it's Lars's penis that is cut in there. So
as a prank, or is it really?
I don't know.
We'll see about that. One thing that I also wanted to ask, I don't know how much time you actually spent on the set during the Dancer in the Dark, but I spoke with one of our famous actors yesterday at the opening, and I told him I'm gonna do an interview with Skarsgård tomorrow, and he said about the Dancer in the Dark, and said the most amazing thing about like von Trier was like taking an actress, thinking Björk as a musician, and pulling her into the world of acting, but in the world of acting in von Trier's films, which is a different world of acting, and dragging her down into it without previous acting experience can be very difficult for someone who does not have an acting experience. So how would you comment on that?
Film acting is to me is being as good as an amateur. It is to be an amateur can on film be fantastic, like Björk was.
Yeah,
she was fantastic, but she was fantastic. She was Björk, and she was fantastic. It's like the problem is often that we are getting too skilled. I'm trying to be as much as an amateur as I can be. Bo Widerberg, the Swedish director, he once told me and a couple of actors that were working in his film, I want you to be in this film with me, but I want you to be just as good as the amateurs that I have in it. And I understood perfectly, because I've made 150 films or something, and I'm very skilled, and the skillness and the professionalism is an obstacle that it keeps me away from the audience making them feel something. So I have to break down everything that I can do, and I have to maybe create obstacles so every take becomes different in a way, to just shake me, because if I don't have that freshness, it's dead. But like Fincher has a very weird way of and funny way of doing it. When he gets an actor that comes straight from theater, for instance, and or an actor that is not that experienced and that is sort of trying to do his best, and ambition is pouring off the walls there. He does just take another take, and he maybe does 30 takes.
Wow, for each scene.
Yeah, no, for each setup.
Yeah.
For each setup in each scene, which means
for each setup in each. Wow.
So, and he does another take, and what happens with you is that after 10 takes, maybe you start to lose the lines, and you drop some lines, and they go really shitty, and then suddenly something new comes in, and it becomes great, and then eventually, maybe towards take 20, you've totally relaxed. You can't be nervous for 50 takes, you know. Yeah. So then you become relaxed and spontaneous, and it just comes.
But that's so much. It's a demanding thing from the entire crew on the set. So how long you've been in Girl with Dragon Tattoo that Fincher directed? So did you had that many takes on that?
I didn't.
It was very experienced casting, though.
It wasn't very many takes, and he didn't do. But he said to me when I met him before we did it, he said, "You don't want to work with me," he said to me, and I do. And he said, "No. I make about 40 takes of each setup." He said, "Good. Then I can fuck up 39. So it's it. I like it. I like it because it gives you freedom to try something new and something that you haven't thought of, and you can find things in a scene that wasn't there before. I know that it's different from many other actors. They They want to do their skillful thing and go home.
Yeah, but but on the other hand, when I'm thinking about this much repetition, you know that moment when you're repeating a sentence or a word, and after some time of repetition, it decomposes them. It like loses what does it even mean. So when you repeat in a scene so many times, it seems like it can go both ways.
You don't know, of course. And for a while, you lose. It doesn't mean anything to you, and then it sort of builds up again and gets a new meaning.
Yeah.
Talking to me? You're talking to me? You're talking to me.
Who you're talking to?
Who you're talking to? Yeah.
You're talking to yourself by the end of it.
Yeah, De Niro actually, I saw him doing that thing on Ronin once, and it was he was alone in the shot. So he didn't fuck up for anybody else. And it was something about a coffee. He was going to say, give him some coffee or something. And he said, give me some coffee. Give me some coffee. Give me some coffee. Give me some coffee. You know, and he did it. So he tried all those different angles of attack, and and he knew that this is gold for the director.
Just like making those small changes, but crucial ones.
Yeah, but
in
because
nuancing the thing.
Yeah, but you choose just one maybe.
Yeah. On the other hand, there's so many things, not enough time. But one of the films that set the trend in the world of cinema and TV shows actually was Insomnia. In 1997, right? Which set this trend of, let's say, Scandinavian noir detective films and TV shows, but portraying the main character Jonas in it, where you played. How was that experience like for you? Because it's not a typical detective. It has a detective plot. It has this dynamic of the film, but it's not actually about it. It's about something much deeper within the character.
Well, first of all, when I read the script, and we talked a lot about the script before we started, and it had to be, the detective story had to work.
Yeah.
It cannot not work. And we spent a lot of time on making it watertight.
Okay.
But then portraying this character who doesn't show anything. He doesn't show that he's going into pieces, and he's constantly he's on the verge of breaking down all the time, but he doesn't show it. So how do you see it? So we did a thing, and I said, I whatever scene I'm in, you have to make one take that follows me in a close-up to see what happens in the eyes. And we also took the matte box, which is what you have on the camera, not to get the light into the lens. We took it off and we put black wrap around the lens instead. So when you worked with an actor, the actor could be right by the lens. So that meant that in every scene, except for moving around and stuff, I also had a camera following me, seeing whatever happened in my eyes. And that, what I did was, I just felt it. I felt this anxiety going on in myself, and I suppressed it. But my eyes revealed it.
Wow, that's a very interesting thing. What did you think about Nolan's version of the film?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No,
really?
I haven't seen it. No, but he's a great director.
Yeah, but Al Pacino was starring,
Yeah, and he's
playing your
actor.
character. So I was very interested in knowing.
Yeah.
And we don't have much time. And for the end, I would just like to, like to ask you about to comment on the thing that you've said at the Karlovari festival about Bergman.
Well, it's. I know it's sort of.
It started circling around, so I just have to ask you about it.
Yeah, but it's good because thanks to AI, they can now check it, and he actually tells in Latin America himself that he was a Nazi, but it's not important. Maybe I shouldn't have said it, but he said it. I just quoted him, but it's not important because his films are not Nazi. And I think that you have to separate those things. And also, he was it's
maybe like Knut Hamsun.
Yeah, like Knut Hamsun. But that's true. That's true. That's one. But it's also if you grow up like he did in a conservative, partly sort of Nazi home in Sweden at that time. At that time, you have to remember that it was different times before the Second World War. It was as easy to become Nazi as it was to become Muslim if you grew up in Kabul, or Mormon if you grew up in Salt Lake City. You don't choose.
Yeah.
You don't choose those things, but you can choose to leave.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. True. So, Stellan, we are completely out of time. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the patience and for the goodwill and for the nice interview. And hopefully you're going to have a nice time in Sarajevo for how long your stay is going to be.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.